Now, referring back to the pattern, to the pattern, the migration point. I mean, see, I changed a little bit more light here and get a little bit more light here now since I done got this spot here. Well, going back to the chart. Going back to the chart. I got this is something people, many ministers doesn't break down. I got a genetic color code. This is the part that's missing from the Bible prophecy because everything we see is white. Because the time the man that lived, they draw up the Bible, they draw the image of Jesus. It came in a time where this region here had a whole new face there, and they changed it and showed Jesus as being born a white man. But this is the reason it had to make this plain. God tells me in Habakkuk to make it plain where they will understand this here. So I give you the genetic color code of the white race where it began at. So, Turkey, all the way across here, all the way down to Afghanistan, all of this was black. But the angels, Jesus, as he went to his Father in heaven in Revelation chapter 6, he gave you the signals of proof that this is true. The first thing he came up who was the conqueror was a white horse, a man having little or no pigmentation. That's what the white horse symbolized. This race had little or no pigmentation. That he began to symbol as a white horse because he marched up through the breadth of the earth. And he also gave you the black horse. But he gave you the red horse. The red horse and the pale horse comes from this horse. But the pale horse comes from the Chaldees, which was a spy group that was placed in Europe. Well, as I was showing you in Daniel, I believe, chapter 6, and there, but I'll go back to it for a reference, hopefully, before this here recording in, and make sure. After Nebuchadnezzar had invaded this land and taken, and his son had taken and drinking out of the vessels of God. And the vessel I referred to was being the children of God, of the king. Well, this was a Darius, I believe it was, and I'll go back to that before I start here. He took power. At the time that Nebuchadnezzar's son was overthrown, the genetic color code of this region had not yet changed. But the Chaldees who they placed in here, spoken of in the prophet Isaiah, that they was not a people until the Assyrian gave it to them. But you'll find that the Assyrian Empire was caused by Nimrod, the son of Ham, who was a people of the black race. All of this region, even Babylon, was caused by Nimrod. Well, when Darius came in, and Darius had to be a person of the black race, because the brother of Abraham there, he migrated up there, but the whole country up here was founded by the sons of Ham. All this was. But the northern region was the sons of Japheth. This is where Bible prophecy don't take you because people don't consider this here. But what the part was to be elusive about this race, they created a word called Caucasian to give you a mindset that they're white, you know. Well, you can't go by the word of Caucasian because Caucasian becomes a word of deception. There's not a Caucasian horse, there's a white horse, and this is not it's a black horse here and a white horse. These are the only two primary symbols Jesus spoke of in Revelation chapter 6 when he gave you the white horse and the black horse. This was the only two races that he considered on the face of the earth, white or black. Because that's where the deception came in, because Adam and Eve was of the black race, because they was created down here in Africa. This tell you that itself. Now, send back. Daniel chapter 11. When angels spoke to Daniel, Jesus was about to be born, spoken of in Isaiah chapter 7. He told you that Alexander the Great would come. He told us in Daniel chapter 7. You go back and you refer to it. Well, what this tells us that there came an animosity and jealousy in this white race up here. He was a white horse at first, because Jesus was going to be born out of the seed of Abraham, and Abraham wasn't 100% of a black race. So was his son Isaac, whom God made the promise to. So what this tells us, that there was an animosity towards here, because God used the prophecy of Jonah to let us know that the genetic color code was not changed, because he went up there to Nineveh. He sent him to Nineveh. He never sent anyone to the Gentiles. Even when he was here, he said, but after Jesus went to the cross, then he sent Paul to the Gentiles, because they was the peoples who was not in the book of life. But he did send a Hebrew. Now I know Israelite, Hebrew is the word, to Nineveh to preach to the sons of Ham. So that tells us alone that Ham was in the book of life. The Hebrew was in the book of life, but the children of the Gentiles was not, because he didn't send nobody to the ways of the Gentiles. He didn't even send invaders to the ways of the Gentiles. Let me go to Jonas here a minute here and show you this, because I got to go and bring you back to the Bible, because I'm going to show you why God put Jonas in here. Jonas 1. Now the word of the Lord came unto Jonas, the son of Amittai, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, but their wickedness is come up before me. Verse 9. Verse 9. And he said unto them, I am, okay, speaking, let me read this here all the way to this if I can. No, I'm not going to do this. The story of Jonah. Read the story of Jonah so you can get to this part. But the part I want to get to is Jonah didn't want to go, and he went aboard a ship. And as the tempest arose on the sea, then they began to question Jonah. Who was Jonah? Verse 8 in Jonah 1. He said, Then said they unto him, after they found him, Tell us, we pray thee, for whose cause this evil is upon us. What is thy occupation? Whence comest thou? What is thy country? Of what peoples art thou? And he said, just as Jonah, he said unto them, I am an Hebrew. The Hebrew came out of Shem. If you go and you research the Bible, go to Genesis chapter 10, and you see the migration pattern, you'll find out that Nineveh was created by Nimrod out of Ham. It says, he said that he be unto thee, and he said unto them, I am an Hebrew, and I fear the Lord, the God of heaven, which has made the sea and the dry land. Now, after this, let's go to verse 3. He was a Hebrew. After he was cast overboard. Verse 3, chapter 3, verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto Jonah the second time, saying, Arise, go unto Nineveh, that great city, and preach unto it the preaching that I bid thee. So Jonah arose and went unto Nineveh, according to the word of the Lord. Now Nineveh was exceedingly great.